Good day to ladies, gentlemen, and non binary people. Today with me, I have the lovely Miss Chenella Kim, and I am your lovely host, Rin. Today, we're going to have a bit of a podcast about feminism. Before we begin, I have a few disclaimers. Please do not send hate to anyone we mention in this video or to anybody who is in this video. When commenting, please be respectful of each other, and you don't have to be rude about it. You can just say your opinion, what you think. And this is just our opinion unless it's backed by facts. And yeah, then it's actually a fact, like if it's backed by research, but this is our opinion. So take it with a grain of salt. You don't have to take us that seriously. So without further ado, please like, share, comment, and subscribe because I see a lot of you watch my videos but you're not subscribed. If you subscribe to my channel, it will help the channel as well. And please keep on clicking on that like button. This makes sure that my videos can get shown to more people, recommended to more people. So, Miss Chanella,
Hi.
tell us a bit about yourself before we're gonna begin the
Start.
podcast.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay. My name is Chenella. I am 16 years old. I go to high school, and I'm also a synchronization. No, I also swim. I do synchronized swimming. And yes, today I'm here with Rin to talk about feminism.
Since recent years, actually, the feminist movement has actually went into like a different turn. Actually,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
there are people who don't agree with this wave of feminism. They have their own reasons, but I can see where they're actually coming from.
Yeah, exactly. Because, the I feel like people have lost their touch within the feminist movement. The first wave and the second wave really helped women come where they are today. And then the third wave is just, it's a joke. It's real, it's actually offensive to the first and the second generation. And it's so, oh my God, I don't have any words because, that's why I'm here today to speak about it. Um, you know, I feel like for women today, we should remember and we shouldn't take things for granted. And we should remember that it's because of the first wave and the
Yes,
second wave is that where women are today. It's because of them. We shouldn't take things for granted. And it's because of those women today are where they are today. We are able to voice our opinions and we are able to do stuff like this. And I think the third generation, the third wave, still did what the second and the first did, we would be so much further. But they are misusing the power of femininity. And people are also going against it. Like even our own women don't identify themselves as feminists because of what the third wave is doing. And I think that is completely wrong. It's totally wrong. But we should remember that why women are here today where they are, and we should remember that what the first and the second fought for. That's why we're here, and I think we should remember that because people love to say move on, like move on. We shouldn't move on. We should learn from it, and and then try and move on and try to use what they did now. Yeah, exactly.
exactly. Because like these recent waves of feminism is actually trying to give this idea to women that they're being oppressed, that they're victims. I mean, like,
Yeah,
why
it
would you
is.
do that to a woman? Why would you do that to a person?
exactly. And
It's like
yeah,
uh you're taking you're turning them into victims. That's like the worst thing you can do to a person.
exactly. And that's what people also think. It's the image that the third wave is giving femininity, is that people like to think that we as women like to see ourselves as victims, that we're not victims. We are not victims. We should be able to voice our opinions, and we should be able to express ourselves without the negative image that mainstream media has given the third wave. We should
Yes.
remember like what the first did. So let's talk about religion. How religion, um, in the Bible, right? You
Yes.
have we've learned that you had Adam and Eve and all that stuff. But before Eve, there was actually Lilith.
Yes,
It was in the
Lilith.
Bible. That it was in the Bible.
And in
God made.
Judaism, she's also mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. Like she was in the Bible. Um, yeah, God created Adam and Eve the same way, right? As equals. And Adam did not like that at all. And
Yeah, he didn't
Lilith
like
wouldn't,
Lilith.
yeah, Lilith wouldn't submit to her husband. And that made him mad. And, she left him. And, that didn't sit well with King James. So what he did is he removed Lilith from the Bibles, but she's still in the Jewish Bibles and the Jewish
Yes.
books. And the reason why he removed her from the Bibles is because he said when women read this, they wouldn't listen to their husband anymore like they are children. Like we're not children, you know.
No.
A man and a
Because
woman should be able to communicate together as equals.
exactly. I'm not sure if you've also known this, but like in ancient Greek, we had like
Yes.
the Spartans and the Athens, and
Yes.
like the Spartan women,
Hmm.
they were alongside with their husbands. They were looking for food, fighting, and whatever else. They were
Yes.
basically equal. But like with the Athens,
Yeah.
they weren't that far from them. But the women weren't allowed to voice their opinion or vote. So I'm getting a feeling that the ideas from like where people got the idea like women aren't supposed to do this, women aren't supposed to do that, was actually came from the Athens idea of what
Hmm.
women should be
Yeah.
like.
I think I don't know why male then we're so scared of females. Like, why would you oppress them? For a reason, right? For a
Yes.
reason, because they knew that the women is powerful, so they were scared that it all has to do with toxic masculinity. They don't like to be an equal to women back then, and it's so sad. And that's where the feminist movement began, because people had this idea of what a woman should have been. And some women like being at home cooking for their children, doing the household.
That's
Some
their
women love
choice.
that. Yeah, they love that. And then you have other women that don't want to do that, but it was forced upon them. You should do household, you should stay home, and you should take care of the children. But I think it should be your own choice. You could or you could not do that.
Yes.
But back then they didn't have a choice. They had to obey, and it's so sad. And that's where the feminine movement began. And women
Yes, and
back
thanks to the
then,
feminist movement, women can
yeah,
have a choice.
exactly.
You can either live together, just stay there where you are, like at home. Maybe you and your husband have like a business together, and you can't really get like a job out of the house because he's working a lot, so many times a day, and that's the relationship you guys have. Or like you have a
Yes,
wife, like that works,
exactly.
and you can stay home with the kids because maybe you think that your children need more attention before you can go out and work and all of that other stuff. So
Yeah, exactly. So that's
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 a
where that's where
choice.
it actually came from, because women would often be home and the husband would be out working. So she would actually have to do the chores. Someone had to do it, right? But
Yes.
nowadays, it's like women are also working. But why do you still force them to stay at home and take children? Do you if a man and a woman work together, it could be a powerful duo. Like
Yes,
they could do
exactly.
so much together. but still people are like, nowadays, um women are taught to cook, to clean, and whatever. And I think it should be just as a human being. It's not male or female or non-binary. I think you should be able to be, you should be taught how to take care of your household as a human. It's not a female or a male thing. You shouldn't
Yeah, you
rely
need to
on
be able to
someone to
take
take
care of
care of you.
yourself
Exactly. You shouldn't rely on someone to take care of yourself. I'm so
because I
glad that.
feel that takes away of like a person themselves. Like, it takes away like your, I forgot what the word was, but like in Dutch it's zelfstandigheid, but I forgot what it's is in English though.
um,
It's like your autonomy or something like that.
yeah,
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 because you need to be able to do stuff yourself. If you can't do stuff yourself, you'll just keep relying on other people.
exactly. Right? And it's so stupid how people say, As a woman you should know how to cook." As a woman, no, it's not as a woman, it's as a human. You should
Yes.
know how to take care of yourself. It's a human thing. It's not a male or a female thing. And that's really stupid. But also in the workforce, when women were able to go to school, when they were able to do all of these things that men were able to do, they did it twice as hard because they knew that this is our chance. And that's why now more female are graduating colleges, high schools. We have more women in the workforce, is because they have to prove themselves twice as hard because people don't take them seriously because they are women. Yeah. And like, say you have a female CEO, or a female boss, you could say she's more likely to be extreme than a male would be, because she has to be extreme, or else people won't be taking her seriously. So that's
Yeah.
why women often, portray themselves as extreme rather than just normal in the
And there are
workforce.
people who say, like in some cultures or religions, there's like a woman. You need like the witness of two women, like witness statements from two women to
Hmm.
be equal to that of a man. Like I feel that that's just uh BS. I'm just gonna say it like that, or else the YouTube
Exactly.
might, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because like, why do you need like two women?
And
Like
their only
seriously.
argument is you're a woman. Like that doesn't make sense. Like, can you come up with something better? And if you start asking these questions, and they'll just don't want to talk to you anymore because they don't have any
Yeah,
arguments. And that's where you see you don't even know why you're doing this. So why are you doing this? And they don't want to hear anything.
exactly.
You're proving them wrong, but they stay with their opinions. It's kind of stupid, actually. Yeah. Really. Yeah. I
And
think
recently I've been
yes.
seeing like these men's rights activists. They're also feminists. Like
Hmm.
they're actually going for like equal rights, like not, but not, they don't call themselves feminists. But I've seen them get a lot of hate from like the really extreme feminists. They're like, why are you giving men rights? Like, don't they have enough rights?
Hmm.
But like
Yeah.
most of society stuff was done like by the more powerful people. Like so
Exactly.
they in the past had basically had more rights than just regular men and women.
Hmm.
So
I think the men rights activists, for. I don't think they're coming up for economic rights because they have economic rights.
yes.
They're coming for more so moral rights, because the
Yeah.
suicide rate of men is higher than
It's very
women.
high. It's
It's
higher than
very
women.
high. Yes, and it all comes to toxic masculinity. As children, they were taught to not express themselves. They were taught not to cry like a girl. They were taught to be men, be manly, man up. And so that resulted into them not expressing themselves.
Additionally,
And
yeah.
yeah, and they couldn't, they had a lot of feelings inside and they don't know how to express it. And that's why very all male, like
Yeah.
some have anger issues because they don't know how to express themselves, right? They don't know how to talk to someone. And that's why the suicide rate is so high. And I think that is what men rights activists are going for,
And
and
the
you know that's the
thing is,
moral rights. And you also have what are I saw a YouTube video
and
about I
about
saw a YouTube video about feminists and men rights activists, right?
oh
Oh my god, it made me laugh because those
wait, you
men
cut
were
up.
poor.
Okay.
I cut off? Yeah. Those men were a poor example of men rights activists because what their arguments were basically oppressing everything that the woman was saying. You know, they gave the women the idea of like we started men rights activists because you started femininity as a way to oppress women, right? Those men were not a good example because they would be talking about, yeah, um, yes, women should not be doing this, or males should be doing this, and females should just do this, and we should protect the females, like they should stay inside. And the woman said, I am not a child. I don't need you to protect me. I'm my own person, and I should be able to do whatever I like, just like you are doing, right? And I think people should they should know what started the movement in the first place, and not going off to what people who are joining the movement with their opinions differs from what the movement is actually about. And femininity is the same. Like, people don't want to associate themselves with feminism because what the media and mainstream media has portrayed it as angry women who hate men. That is not it, right?
Even
We're fighting for equal
you know why
rights.
people actually see it that way? Because the small amount of people who actually think that way, for some reason, they're like the loudest, and they act like they represent the
Exactly.
whole group. And that's like a bit annoying in a way because you're fighting for people's rights, and then you have other
Hmm.
people just coming up with like this weird and kind of insulting stuff that's also kind of hypocritical to themselves and the rest of the movement. And you're just there trying to talk to people, but your voice is being like not heard, and it
Yes.
feels like you're
Yeah,
talking
I
for no.
don't know why people do that. They listen to the people that go extreme rather than listen to what they actually have to say, the other people. They like to focus on, I don't know, people like negativity. They're drawn to negativity for some reason. So they will rather hear what the extreme feminists have to say rather than what the movement is all about. I think they forget that, and that is totally wrong. I'm so glad that in Suriname, like me, for example, I didn't feel oppressed as a girl growing up. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, right? Because
Yeah, in
I
other
didn't
places
know.
it does happen.
Yeah, it does happen.
We had like the we basically had like the opportunity, the right to continue going to school, but we
Hmm.
weren't seen like as others. We weren't seen like different from guys, even though we are different. I was gonna
We are
say that
different.
we are different, but we were given equal opportunity. That's what
Yes.
our that's what the women before us fought for, equal opportunity. We like if we all looked the same, if we all were the same, the world would be boring, basically.
Yeah. I mean, male and female, they have biological differences, right? That's biologically. If you're going to use that as argument, that's stupid. Because we are both humans and we should both be given equal rights as humans. And not because I am a woman, you're going to be treating me lesser than yourself. Because no, I am a human, you are my equal, and we should be treated as equals. And it's so sad that women, um, foreigners, in Arabia, women can't do anything without their male approval. They
Husband's
can't.
consent. Yes, they can't
Husbands
really do
or
that much.
brothers. Wait, what? We're not children, right? They are not
They can
children.
like it changed now because women are now allowed to drive,
They're allowed to drive.
and Yeah, they're now
but
allowed
they're
to
allowed to
drive.
drive with their husband's consent. They can
Yes.
only get a driver license with their husband's consent. They can also board a flight, but with a husband's this they all, everything has to do with consent of their husband, like their
And
children.
divorce also with the husband's consent.
Exactly. If you're trying to get out of an abusive relationship, but you need your husband consent, do you think that's gonna happen? No,
No.
no, it's not gonna happen. So I think for
Like
those women
the
out there,
person's just gonna see that as like an insult. Like, oh, why are you leaving me? Like, I treat you right, don't I? You'll get something like
exactly.
that.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. And
It just comes off as like, ugh.
exactly, you know, in relationships, right? It makes me so mad because when the man or the boyfriend, goes out and comes late at home, it's normal, right? The wife doesn't say anything. I mean,
Yeah.
you was out with your friends. Nobody's gonna say anything. You go to sleep, and then when the woman does the same thing and she comes home late, and the husband's like, "Where were you? Why didn't you tell me? Why this? Why that?" But you're doing the exact same thing, right? If we're gonna be equal, why can't I do the same thing, right?
In
Doesn't make
uh
sense.
in homosexual relationships, you do have that as well.
Hmm.
Like, but it's like they do that with each other, like, but it depends on the person. Like, um people do get worried, like, if you know what kind in what circumstances you met your partner in, you're gonna get
Yeah.
worried. But if you don't trust them enough, and if they don't trust you enough, then of course you're gonna have feelings like that.
Yeah,
You're
exactly. And
gonna
I
be
feel
extra
like,
worried and just gonna be rude sometimes at a certain point.
yes, I feel like you can't judge someone for the same things that you are doing, and that is exactly what we're dealing with today. Male boys, they go out, right? They do adult stuff with women, and they are manly because that's what boys do.
Yes, that's
And
true.
those same guys
uh
shame the girl that does the exact same thing. And I'm like, you can't judge a person for doing the same thing that you are doing. If you weren't doing that, that would be a different story, right? But you're doing the exact same thing, and but you're judging her, and you're saying that she doesn't have respect for yourself, but you're doing the same. Does that mean you also don't have respect for yourself? But the only argument they have, but no, she's a woman. That does not make sense. If that's your argument, how am I supposed to get what you're trying to come from, right?
yeah, it's like, do as I say but not as I do.
It's yeah,
And that's like
it's really,
a
yeah.
bit a bit redundant, because like you truly know a person by their actions and not by what they say. Like a
Hmm.
person can just say A but they do B.
Exactly, right? It's really nonsense. What people should stop trying to do is stop trying to justify rape.
Yes.
They should stop. They should stop. They're searching for reasons to why. It doesn't sit with me, And it's not about the clothes, It's not, because women, they can
Yeah,
wear
people
whatever
are
they
gonna say
want.
yes because of the clothes and whatever. Like men also get raped. Men also get raped.
Men
Both men
also
and
get
women
raped.
get raped. Like, was that
Yeah,
guy
they both
wearing
get raped.
shorts that were short? What the hell? And they
And
both get
when we're at
assaulted.
home, yeah, exactly. When we're growing up, our parents teach us, dress like this, dress like this, because the boys can't keep it in their pants. And why don't you teach your son how to treat women with respect? It comes from home. Teach your son how to treat a woman with respect. Teach your son that a woman is not an object, right? She has feelings, and she's a human being, and treat her as a human being. But they see their dads doing the same things to girls, so that's why they're doing the same thing, because they are not learned. We as women learn how we should dress, right? But why don't you teach? We are being learned how to dress because of what men do. Then why don't you teach your sons not to do that?
like the thing is with rape,
That's a
it's
conversation.
not about the sex itself, it's about power. That's why women do it as well to other people, to like it happens to everyone. So it's it's basically you need to teach people to respect each other.
Yes, exactly. But you know, when you're at home, I've witnessed this. They only talk to the girls about this.
Yes.
They don't talk to it with boys about it. They
Well, in
don't.
my family, like at yeah, in my home situation, they actually did talk with my sibling about it, like because yeah, stuff can
Same
happen
here.
to him
Same
as
here.
well, and he has to be
Yeah,
aware
same
of
here.
it because we need to respect people, and if somebody else is being disrespectful to us or is showing like that behavior that they wouldn't want to hurt us in a way, then we just need to try to go away, like just cut the BS and just walk away because you don't know what that person could do to you.
Hmm. And as a human
Like
being, we
even
shouldn't be afraid to just walk on the streets alone at night. We should not be afraid,
exactly.
right? But
There are
we're
like countries where women can walk alone, and yet other places like Suriname and Holland, you can't do that. Or like in
no, you
places like
can't.
Saudi Arabia, like you can't go outside as a woman. Stuff will happen to you, and it's just it's just
Yeah. And their argument that they use is like, no, but you
it's
dressed
just
that way. You
terrible.
asked for it. All right, I wore a crop top and jeans, and I say, here I am, rape me, rape me. I didn't say yes, right? And you're using my clothes to justify your
Did not give
actions? That is wrong.
like bruh,
That is wrong.
it's completely wrong.
Hmm. Totally, totally wrong.
And there's also something interesting. There are
Yes,
people who use like false rape and assault allegations on other people to get what they want out of the situation.
that
And
is
that's
also
also like a
completely
terrible
wrong.
thing. I feel that's
It
also
is.
insulting to
It
actual
is.
victims of rape and abuse.
Yes, because when
It
people, the more fake accusations just come forward, then people will start not to believing the real victims.
yes.
Yeah, and it's really, really sad because,
And
you
like
know, in countries like India, when you get raped as a girl, you can't say anything, nothing at all,
like it's
because
your
you then
fault.
won't. Yeah, and you can't
And
find a husband like if you knows you're raped. Like what? It is not her fault that she got raped.
and they have like the honor killings where they basically like kill the girls that were raped
Exactly,
and
like it's their
assaulted.
fault, but it's not. She didn't get asked. She didn't ask to be raped, but somehow it's always the other person's fault. It's so stupid. Why can't people just treat each other with respect, both parties? You know,
I feel like we should have put a trigger warning in the video, but I think it's
we
a bit
should.
too late.
It is.
I'm gonna put it in the title. I'm gonna put it in the title so people know.
Yeah,
Because
these are
yeah,
some serious
talking
stuff.
about stuff like this, it's especially for if you're like a victim or and you have experienced stuff like this, it's just hard. Like the feelings come back up and that trauma is still there.
It is.
And I don't think that everywhere like people are working now towards stuff like therapy, but you actually have to be willing to go there to
Yeah,
actually and do put in the work to be able to process those feelings and the situation because it's going to be hard on you, but you got to find a way to let go of it and move on, or else it will basically consume your life and you'll start becoming afraid to continue.
yeah,
And that's
and
just like
that
the
is really
worst things to
sad.
see a person as like just like a former husk of a man themselves, just stuck in that with those feelings, and they can't really express themselves.
Yeah. I
In
think,
India
yeah.
itself, and in China, if I'm right, there were like this whole thing where they were killing off baby girls actually because they felt like women are like worth less than men. And now they're asking like, hey, why aren't there enough women? Like, why can't my son find a good wife? But like, if you're basically
You're
hurting all
killing
these
off the
women,
girls.
yeah, then don't ask yourself why your husband can't get a wife. And they feel like,
Yes.
oh, but women are like so useless, and especially like in places like India, you have to pay like something called a dowry. That's like if
Mm-hmm.
your daughter is marrying a guy, like you have to pay the guy's family like an amount of money, or like animals, like trade in with animals. And yeah, so it's a lot more expensive to have women because the
Mm.
family she's getting married into decides how much you're allowed to pay.
Wow, I did
And
not know that.
some places were like, oh, we don't have to keep like the dowry, let's just like get rid of it. But because it's tradition, people still held on to that, and they're keeping those ideas. In places like India, they throw acid on women's faces if they feel like the women threaten their way of thinking, their way of life. It's some awful stuff, but
It
some
is.
women, like I think it's like in more of the developed places in India, they actually throw acid on men's faces. So I'm like, instead of doing that, why don't you just go out and help the women who are suffering? Why do you have to like take revenge on men as if that will justify what they did to you?
Exactly. They're taking their angers onto someone innocent. That is
They don't
not
even have to
what is
be
happening.
innocent, but you're gonna be like the person that hurt you if you're just gonna try to justify your anger and hatred towards them by doing something even worse.
I
In
think,
some cases, people do deserve that because sometimes when they've done horrible stuff to people, they don't even like go to jail or whatever. But that doesn't mean you should take the law into your own hands because you could get hurt much worse, and your
I
life could
think
just
that
based
is a very
off
human
of
thing. Yeah.
getting back revenge,
Yeah.
and that's not
That is a
healthy,
very
and especially not if you want to
sad.
continue with your life.
Yeah.
You'll
Um,
become obsessed, and that's like just a bad feeling in general.
it is, and I think more on this. They do their case does not get justified. I've seen it. Not I've not seen it, but I've read a lot about it. Is that actually the family members go after the person and do worse than what the victim has gone through. And
Yeah.
they actually do that to the person that did that to their child. And I think, you know, why there are so many people that are to do they want to do it willingly, right? You can even pay
Yes.
for it, but you like what I don't get is raping little kids. That is disgusting. That is disgusting.
Like, people just think like, oh, the child gave consent. Oh, yeah, the child wanted it. How does a freaking child want that stuff?
Like
Somebody tell
exactly, their
that to
body's
me.
not even developed. Their body is not developed. Oh my
And
gosh.
besides
And you
that,
know
they
where
wouldn't
this
like it.
exactly? There are a lot of children
Like
that
I've heard
died
so
in
many
the
stories.
process.
Exactly, and there was one in India as well, like a story about that. There was like an 8-month-old baby.
A baby.
Yeah.
Like what a baby doesn't even know how to speak. Nothing is developed. You're gonna, oh
She had to
gosh.
be rushed to the hospital. She nearly died.
The
She
fact
was
that you
never
can
the
look
same
at a
again.
baby, yeah, the fact that you can look at a baby and see an object that you can use for your own pleasure, and look at a child and just see an object that you can use for your own benefit. I think there's really something wrong with you if you think that way. Really,
Yes.
really something wrong with
Like
you.
what was the matter with her? Was she wearing short clothes? What kind of clothes was she wearing? What did she say seductive stuff? Like was she flirting with you? What the hell?
Exactly.
Oh,
Did she say no? No, we have every right to be angry because this is not
yes.
okay. This is not okay.
You just can't curse on YouTube even though you don't like this stuff. But yeah,
No,
this
it's
is just
really,
awful.
it is. And where these things, there are a lot of stories, and they even made a movie about it, of priests, because they're priests, right? Nobody would ever think that they would do that, but they are the ones that do that to little kids. And because they know that nobody would believe the children because they are priests, is why they are doing that to little children, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, they're people of God. Why would they do that? Like, but you may be a person of God, but what is truly going on inside your mind?
Inside your
You
mind,
don't
we
know.
don't know. We don't know. And so, you know, and
Like
people
even if they're
also find it
talking
hard to
nice with
believe.
us, how will we know who they truly are? We only know that through their actions,
Exactly.
but it's the
They're so
actions
fake.
that we don't see
Yeah, what is
that's
going
like a
on?
bit, yeah. And in
It's
their
really
mind, like everybody's mind is like different, right? But when somebody's doing something, they think they're doing the right thing, like in their mind, in their
in
like
their mind. Yeah. But I think it's logical. How can you think that raping a child is good? Right? I really don't understand it.
another people
I
other
don't.
people would say, I do not know what came over me. Yeah, like that's just BS. Like seriously,
That
you don't know
is.
what came over you?
And the fact that people
Like
are trying to justify their actions. It's like there's nothing to justify. Nothing. Not a single thing.
exactly. Like you do not know what kind of horror and trauma you caused that child.
Exactly. The child will, like, that's where some of the hatred comes from. Like when some male get raped by female, they will have a hatred towards female, and because of the action
Yes.
that that female did. Or when a male rapes a female, and she will have a hatred for men because of what he did to her. you
Yes.
know
And then they're gonna
it's
have like
it's
this notion
surreal.
like all women are bad or all men are bad. Like, but when you start walking around with that mindset, then if somebody comes along that actually does want to
Care
help
about you.
you
Yeah,
and care about you, then you're not gonna accept that anymore. You're just gonna see that person in them that did that horrible stuff to you, even though they're not the same people.
they're not. Ugh, it's really talking about this. It made actually feel like it makes you feel like you're blessed because it hasn't happened to you, right?
Yes,
But that doesn't mean like it doesn't happen, right? People forget that because just because you are not going through it doesn't mean someone else isn't too, right? And people
there are
people
people
forget
like
that.
saying, because we were talking about like third wave and fourth wave feminism in the beginning, the
Hmm.
fact that it makes women feel sells the idea to women that they're oppressed. There are actual women out there in other countries that are oppressed,
Yeah,
but and you're asking yourself, why don't these people go there to help them? Besides that, it's like a lot of money, and it's they're mostly talking on the internet, like mostly like people see it like as a stereotypical SJWs, like the like what I said earlier, like the people who are like the vocal minority. They like
yeah.
keep coming with like these extreme ideas and stuff, and doing like all these weird stuff, like putting pads on their faces with like blood and whatever. I have no idea why they do that.
I
Help,
saw a video.
like
Yeah,
these women who need their help in other countries, and they're like, let's stand up for these people. Let's help them get an education. Let's help them continue uh, making their lives a lot better than what it is now. Let's change the system. Let's change society.
let's change society.
And
But you
that
can't change
across the world
society
isn't
with
really
people
going
that
to help
have.
you. If you find a way
Yeah,
to help
exactly.
yourself, if the people in the country help each other, things get better because they know the situation, they know how to help.
I've, uh, I saw a video of a woman in Arabia. She was a feminist and she was coming up for the rights for the women there. And she told stories about how she was getting stoned and how she wasn't safe in her own house because people would go out of their way and try to break into her house, try to beat her because of her opinions. And that's where, all of these feminist women or men, because men also can be feminists, or just you don't have to be a feminist. I mean, you see a woman in danger, a man in danger, help. It's not that hard. Help. I saw a video where a man was being abused publicly by a woman, and no one stepped in. Everybody was just laughing. I'm like, he's getting abused. Why are you not helping him? If it was a woman, you would definitely step in and help her. But because it's a
Like,
male, you won't
abuse
help
is
him.
abuse. Step in and actually say
Abuse is
something about it.
abuse.
Don't let him suffer like
Yes.
that.
And people say, no, it's none of my business. Like, do you not see the pain that the person is going through? Help the person, because this is not a male or a
And
female
besides
thing.
that, I'm not sure if you heard about the cycle of violence, but if a child, most likely to abuse their significant other in their relationship. Like, you're not gonna step in to break that shit up. You're in a way contributing also to a child who might see that and abuse someone else when they get older. Or what if
Yes,
the
because
relationship
they
breaks
will.
apart?
Yeah,
That person is still going to be like abusive to someone else.
because that's what they have been growing up with. That's what
Like, we're not here
that's what they were
alone. Like, you
seeing.
can say it's none of your business, but like it or not.
I feel like if someone is in danger, you should just step in and help, and your pride should not get in the way of helping people. Because I know a lot of people that won't step in, like whether it's abuse or just something happening to a person, they won't step in because they'll say it's none of my business. But I think as a human being, I think you should just help, because you don't know, like, if this is happening in public, imagine what is going on behind closed doors. So if this is your chance that you can help the person, just take the chance and help the person.
And the thing is, if there's this whole thing like when men speak up about abuse or whatever, the women are like, well, but he abused me as well. He abused me more. But even and they start like making up lies, like because they're like, oh, because I'm a woman, people, because I'm a woman, because I'm a woman, people will believe me more, so I can do
Mhm.
whatever I want to him. If you know the case, like the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp
Yeah,
situation.
Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Yeah.
She was abusive to like her before she was with him. She was abusive to her lesbian partner,
Mhm.
and after that she was abusive to Johnny Depp. So how can you just say like, How can you just justify that? And she hit him and cut his finger and threw pots and pans at him. Like, how do you
Yeah,
justify that? Oh,
exactly.
he's a
There is
man,
no
he can take
justifying.
it.
But
Dude.
when he does the same thing to you, it's not because you're a woman. It's, you know, it's crazy because some people just, I don't get it. If you hit a male, right? You hit your husband, and he hits you back. Pikachu surprise face. Stop abusing each other.
Exactly. Like, if you keep abusing someone and they lash out, and you're gonna be like, oh, but I didn't know that was gonna happen. But you're the one who like put them in like a freaking corner, beat them up, and then you just act surprised when they fight back, and then you sell this idea to society like they were the one who did everything. Like,
And it's like people like her is like why people won't believe the actual women that are being abused. People like Amber Heard.
yes.
People that are faking the whole situation, reversing it. And it's so sad that people would rather believe the female and not the male. It's really
And
sad.
people just laugh at the men like when they get abused in relationships
Yeah,
and
they're
wherever
like,
else.
you're a
Like,
man, act up, you're a man. See,
yeah, and that's like the toxic masculinity
that
talking.
is the
Like,
toxic. Yeah,
that's toxic masculinity. And the men who abuse women, that's also toxic masculinity.
it is. Because they have a feeling of some sort that they have to show that they're in charge. I, I'm not a guy, so I don't know why they love being in charge of something, but it's just
I think
stupid.
it has to do with like stuff from like ancient times, like because like stuff was different then. We were like hunter gatherer people, like because women were mostly taking care of children in like the group. They were mostly
Mhm.
just gathering food and hunting smaller animals, and like the men would usually group up into like a lot bigger groups to gather like bigger prey, and they had to be
Mhm.
stronger and be able to protect the women. Like with animals you see like similar stuff, but the thing is with for instance lions, like you have the guy that like protects the rest of the his pride, right? But
Mhm.
it's the women who actually go out to hunt for food.
Yeah,
So in a way, like those things will develop over time, but we live in a different time right now, so stuff is
we
going to be
do.
different. Our
Yeah.
bodies haven't adjusted to that yet.
Yeah, exactly. Humans are evolving over time. Animals are evolving over time. We adapt to our
Our
nature,
surroundings.
right? Our surroundings, exactly. Because back then the weather was very cold, so that's why they had to cover up, right? And now seriously, it's like 100 degrees outside. You want me to cover my whole body? I will die. Like we live in a different time. You can't keep some traditions, right? They develop because of what was happening in that time,
Yes.
and it's not happening now. So why are you still trying to bring it now? It doesn't affect anything.
Yeah, it's like we're attached to tradition. We like the idea of something that makes us feel secure, something that makes us feel safe, and repetition and tradition is something like that. Like, oh yeah, I have a daily routine. I can stay in my routine, then I can't freak out. Then everything is like okay. But whether you like it or not, stuff will change. And I believe this is
It
also why people don't like change because they're so used to like their daily routine. It's you're going into new territory. You do not know what to expect. You don't know if that thing will attack you. You do
exactly.
not know if you will get hurt. So that's why people are afraid to like change stuff up. That's why it took a lot more time for movements like feminism and all the other stuff to like actually get people to listen and integrate that into society. And you know what's funny? People keep putting the blame on society, but we are society.
We are
So if we keep
society.
holding on to like these ideas, it will stay there.
It
If the
will.
majority keeps holding on onto like the ideas like laughing at male victims or telling women to cover up, and that's the reason why they why they bad stuff happens to them. Like it's others who hold on to that idea that
Yeah.
makes up the other half of society.
Yeah. I think it's their mindset, right? They don't want to believe
Yeah.
that something like that could happen. But it can, just because it does not happen to you means that it doesn't happen to another person. It all comes back to that. Don't have that mindset, your privileged mindset, like, doesn't happen to me. So, like, why? Like, no, it's happening to him or her. Listen and change your way of thinking.
I'm not sure if we're supposed to get into this topic per se, but trigger warning in case we do. But there has also been like a lot of talk about abortion
Yeah.
in like feminism.
Mhm.
And people are like, you have to be pro life or you have to be pro choice. I'm just like, each situation is different.
It is,
The
right?
fact still stands, it's a human life, but the other people have a choice if they want to take care of them or not. Because at the moment, people like shame others who have abortions because they're like, we're infertile, we can't have children. But you also have children in orphanages who don't have parents. I would say instead of shaming the other person, take care of that child.
Yeah,
Like
right?
maybe
What
it
if
was
that
like
person that had that child didn't have a choice and they couldn't take care of the children, so they gave the child up for what is it called?
adoption,
Adoption, right?
adoption,
Yeah,
because they can
exactly.
take care of
Yeah. I think
when
you should be given a choice
yes.
because who am I to say what you should do and what you not should do with your body, you know?
Because I've heard like the fact still stands, it's a human life.
It is.
But the thing is, it shouldn't stay like just there. Like the child's life still matters even if they're already born. And I've seen like people don't really like look at the children who are already born. They're just like, oh, they can take care of themselves now. Like why should we pay attention to that? That's like the worst thing you can do or say. Like
Yeah, it's
it doesn't
different.
matter
It's
if the
different.
child is already like born, you still need to like take care of them
Take
until
care
they've
of a
reached a
child.
certain age.
Yeah. I think not giving someone a choice is not, I don't think it's a good thing because every situation is different. You have different
Yes.
situations that people make different choices, and you can make a choice based off of one thing that a person went through. Because what who said that some people get raped and they don't want the child of the rapist, but they're not given a choice, so they have to take care of the child. That's one situation. And then you have another situation where, the family is poor and they have another baby, and the child comes into the world because they didn't have a choice, and they're not able to take care of the child, and the child then gets neglected and becomes homeless. And I think people should be given a choice because you don't know what situation the person is in, but it also comes back to it is a human being, right?
Yes.
And yeah, exactly. So I would
And
say
the thing is,
choice.
there I feel there's supposed to be more emphasis on like contraception,
Exactly.
like people's sexual education, because I see that not everywhere people are as educated about that. And they're like, oh, if we don't give them like contraception, they won't do it. But you know teens, right? Like even if you
Teens.
don't give them stuff like condoms or like pill or anything, they will
Yeah.
still do it. And they'll think they'll be like slick and be like, oh, the pull out method, oh no no no, that's not gonna work. Like at least go the safer way and use like
Exactly.
protection, because
Protection.
abortion should be like the really last thing you should think about.
Yes, it's the last thing.
It's
And
supposed to be the last resort, last option.
exactly. I think it you should, like, you went for it. You knew it was gonna happen. You knew it was gonna happen. Like, some people did not know, they didn't have a choice. It just happened, right? And then you just you knew that the chances were high that you would get pregnant, but you still went. And don't be surprised when you're carrying a child.
And
You know,
that's
that is
for the
another
people that
situation.
that actively know what they're doing. But I feel like that's why there's supposed to be more of a emphasis on sexual education,
Yes.
because
I
there are
don't
some
know
people that
why.
actually don't know, and they don't know like that you like in the middle of doing all of that stuff you can like withdraw consent and be like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. You don't have to continue till the end just to make the other person happy. Like,
Exactly.
that's why there has to be like, communication in the whole, in all of that. There has to be communication and sexual education, because there are still places where that's actually banned, and then you see like the teen pregnancy rates, they're like this. Or the,
Hi.
yeah.
Yeah. I think every child, or teenager should be given sexual education. I've heard, I don't know if it's true, but in America, you could choose to learn about this or not. I don't think it should be a
I
choice. You should
believe
just
it's
learn
supposed to
about
be a
it.
human right to just
Yeah,
know
exactly. You
it.
should you
Because
should
I
be
know
learn
people
about
who didn't know that they could get pregnant by having sex. Like what the what?
it. Exactly, right?
And then
It's
you're like,
surreal.
and then you have a kid, and you're like, where the hell did this come from? It just fell out of
Exactly.
me. Yeah. So yeah, but I'm not sure if you know this lady, Shannon Boodram.
Shan.
She's of Guyanese and Trinidadian descent.
Mm-hmm.
She lives in Canada, I believe.
Okay.
She's actually like this. She like pushes towards sexual education for people, and to like so they can like learn more about their bodies and how to communicate with their partners. And I really
Yeah.
like that. Like, and I really want more to see more people like her and to spread her message, because this is the stuff we need in our lives if we want to
Yeah,
have
it's part of the
healthy and
human.
happy relationships. There
Yeah.
are more women, of course, who talked about this stuff, but she's the one who comes to mind right
Yeah.
now.
I think, yeah, that's a good thing that she's doing. I did not know that. Thank you for informing me. Yeah, I think, yeah,
I'll send you
it's a
her
good thing.
Instagram. Like,
Oh,
she's
yeah,
expecting a
sure.
baby right now, and
Oh,
like
that's
she's
so
super
cute.
excited. Like, first
That's
she
so
was
cute.
like, when she was like younger, she was like, oh, I don't want to have kids. But now she's like a lot more secure in herself, like in her body and in her relationship. And she's like,
Yes.
yes, I do want to bring a child into this world. And that's what it's supposed to be like. You're supposed to be reassured, self assured, like to know the choices that you're going to make in life.
Yeah. There are some
Okay,
men, right, that
we have a question here. It is in
yeah.
Dutch. We'll try to translate it. De vrouwen creëren hun eigen macho's in mijn landen. Als Suriname wordt een groot deel van de opvoeding door de vrouwen gedaan. Die moeten hun zonen de waardes en omgangsvormen met de vrouw leren. Yes, like most women do. Yeah, in places like Suriname, they do take care of their children. Actually, like
They
that's
do.
what we see more. Like the dads aren't always home, and like some people are like a single parent housing, like housing, single parent families.
Yes.
And but the thing is, um, boys aren't gonna be able to like learn everything from a woman, because they also need because men think differently than women.
The
They also
women.
need like some good advice from a good male role model. Like even if you don't
Exactly.
have your dad in your life, like you don't always need them. If like if something happens, you just need like somebody who's gonna fill in that role.
Exactly,
Like
because
somebody,
you're learning from a woman's perspective, but you're at
yes,
the end of the day you're a male, right? You're not a female, and the world is viewed differently through a man's eye and a woman's eye, right? And you should be able
like
to have both, to hear both sides. right? That's a healthy
Yes.
combination.
That's the healthy
So
way. Like, you're
it
supposed to
is.
like learn from different perspectives.
Yeah, learn from
Thank
what
you
it
for
is from
your
a female side.
comment,
Yeah,
Kenneth. Like, we got a lot of comments like women power. I like this topic. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys for the love. I believe we're nearing the end of our interview podcast today. Like,
yeah,
we need to at least save some more for like the rest. Like, maybe if we're gonna do another one, because
yeah.
1 hour like is good enough. Like, I don't see like a lot of people who are gonna really be watching all of this. So at least
Hmm.
if they see this, they'll at least stay tuned for like a next one. Because I
Yeah.
believe with all of the other stuff going on in the world, we'll have more to talk about
Yes,
late
exactly.
later. So for today, we're gonna keep it like around an hour. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Miss Chanella, for
Oh,
being
you're
here
so
today. I
very
really
welcome.
enjoyed this
Yeah,
conversation,
exactly.
and
Same, same.
it was fun, and hopefully somebody can take something away out of this conversation and do their own research
Yeah,
and read books and ask people, like,
and ask
and actually be
questions.
able to get out of their
Yeah,
abusive relationships.
yeah, and they maybe be able to change their whole mindset, about how the
Yes, and
world
be
should.
like, "Hey, I didn't think about it that way."
Exactly.
So, people, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. As I said before, please click the subscribe button because a lot of you are watching, but you're not subscribed. Everything is down below, and I also put Chanella's in like Instagram in the comment section in the description box below. So thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. This was all our opinion, so don't send hate to us. Like, don't be rude,
Exactly.
and we'll hopefully see you the next time when stuff might be a bit different. Like, this is like my new, like, I'm temporarily going to be here for the next few podcasts, so I'm going to be moving soon. So yeah, love you guys, and good night to
Good
whoever
night.
is going to go, or goodbye.
Bye. Yeah, goodbye.
Bye. Like,
Bye.
it's good night for me though, but yeah, goodbye.
Oh.